Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Let's see what the DJ got for us today. Oh, oh. That's all I remember. Y'all didn't clap that. I didn't go like that. Listen, before y'all came in, he was playing James Brown. Anybody remember James Brown? The music was real good back then. Although I couldn't understand half the things he was saying, but I liked the music. I like the music. All right, we got some volume. So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Grief Symposium. This is, go ahead and clap for that. Yes, this is June. Can y'all believe this year is halfway over? 2024. So we definitely appreciate those of you who are here for the very first time. And as she talked about, Marie said we are not the traditional grief support group. Now you see Kleenex boxes on the table because we do welcome tears. We do allow you to cry because crying is a part of the human process, but most people think that we cry the entire time. And we don't. Why? Because I want to ask a question of all of you. Everybody's here for a death loss, is that right? Anybody here for any other kind of loss outside of a death? Yeah, me and you, that's right. Besides, okay, alrighty, so after that loss that you had, especially if it's recent, for those of you who are new in your grief journey, have you smiled or laughed about anything since that loved one died or since you had the loss? Everybody's nodding their head, absolutely, because what is that? That is what we call an indicator of life. So you will survive this process. Now you're going to have some pain throughout the process, but the fact that you are able to smile about some things. And listen, let me tell you, it is okay to smile. Say that, it's okay for me to smile. It's okay. It is okay for you to smile because some people feel guilty during their grief process. Especially if it's a death loss, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're having fun while their loved one is deceased. So you feel like it's not okay for you to smile, but it absolutely is okay. Okay? So we welcome you to our Grief Support Symposium. We're here every month, every fourth Sunday. And this month, again, we're talking about coping mechanisms. We appreciate, again, those of you who are here for the first time. And we appreciate those of you who we call frequent flyers. You come every Sunday. So let's clap for each other. For our participation. And we are live, so we are glad for those of you who are streaming live with us. We appreciate you for tuning in as well. We appreciate that. So one more thing before we get into what we're going to talk about today. Would you help me appreciate Barry and Marie Franklin for providing this support? Absolutely. With the celebration of life. And for those of you who don't know what that is a funeral home, and they provide grief support not only to the families that they serve, but to anybody in the community. So you can invite them out and tell them to come here at 3:30, okay? So, to our new people, every month we start out asking, what have you done to take care of yourself since I saw you last, okay? Because we have to be an active participant in our own health, okay? So you don't have to share anything this time if you don't want to. You can wait until next month, but I want you to make sure that you are taking care of yourselves. Did you know that you're taking care of yourselves when you come here? Absolutely you are. This is a part of your recovery, okay? When you come here, you get tools and you go home and you apply the information. So I'm going to open the floor. What have you guys done since I saw you last? Tell me some things you've done to take care of yourself. And don't everybody talk at one time, all right? So you can raise your hand and you can start talking. Yes.
Sleep.
Come on and clap. She said sleep. I love that. Listen, that's it. Sleep, when you're in grief, sometimes you don't get sleep, do you? It is hard to go to sleep at nighttime, so I'm glad that she was able to get some sleep. I am learning on this journey, that sleep is almost at the top of the list, right under diet and exercise. I thought diet and exercise, but the older we get, your sleep is valuable. It is priceless. So if you're having sleep disturbances, which is normal during your grief process, but as you do the work to heal, you should pass through that, because every one of us should be getting to what we call the rapid eye movement stage during our sleeping. That's where we're at our deep sleep, and that is where our bodies are restored, okay, rejuvenated overnight. our organs get to rest. This is why they tell us not to eat after a certain hour. Okay, they teach us, and I understand that now. I didn't believe the folk. I didn't believe them when I was young. I'm like, they don't know what they're talking about. Now I understand because my liver, I need my liver to work right. I need my kidneys to work right. So when you eat after a certain hour, like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, guess what? You lay down and go to sleep, but your body's still working because it has to digest that food, and if it's still working, you're not resting, you're not sleeping. And then you get up and the cycle starts over and over and over again. So good for you. Good for you for sleep. Anybody else? What have you done since I saw you last? Over here and then here. Yes.
To Spain.
You went to Spain. Yes. Y'all clap for her. That's on my list. That's one of the places I want to go. Absolutely. Traveling, believe it or not, is also at the top of the list when you're in grief. People start traveling. I encourage you to do so. Just know that now, don't become what I call a perpetual traveler because you're escaping your pain. Okay? So I encourage people, when you travel, you need to come home and create an oasis at your home. So good for you for traveling. What'd you do?
Met with a nutrition consult.
I want to come hug you. I can't right now because I'm on camera, but I'm going to hug you afterwards. Y'all clap for her. She met with a nutritionist, a counselor, to help her with her food. Say this, food is my fuel. It is very important when you're on your grief journey paying attention to what you eat. When I'm working with people, especially in the beginning of their journey, I don't talk about the food. I ask them, how you feeling? Have you been to the doctor? Have you had your blood work? And some of them said, I was here for grief. Why are we talking about that? I said, because your body holds your emotions, which are on the inside. But as you matriculate through your journey, we need to address that nutrition because it's going to help you. Okay? It's going to help you feel better. So good for you. I encourage a lot of people to do that. And in addition to doing that, I encourage a lot of you to take a food allergen test. Write that down. Your food allergen test. I've seen it at Target. Target has, if you go in the section, the pharmacy section, they have these tests, DNA tests. I've seen it there, food allergen test. I got mine from your doctor. You can go to your doctor and say, hey, I want you to test me for food allergen. Okay? Why am I telling you to do that? Because many of us are consuming foods that we are allergic to. Right? I've shared with you, those of you who have been here before, about gluten and how my system can't handle that. I'm allergic to that. Now, when we don't understand something, we don't understand, right? So I thought being allergic to something means that you break out in hives. So the doctor said, you're allergic to gluten. I said, well, I'm not breaking out. I'm not itching. I did not know. He said, ma'am, that's not how that works. When you eat gluten, your body swells. And I feel fatigue. So I want you all to start paying attention to what you put in your mouth. Like I ate meat. I haven't been eating meat a lot. But I ate meat last night and I ate meat today while y'all were in church. Praise the Lord. I ate some of that good old barbecue. But guess what? I can see a difference in my body. So I said, okay, I got to calm that down because I don't eat the pork because my body responds differently. Okay, so I want you to do that. Get a food allergen test to see what food you're allergic to so that you can feel better. All right, anybody on this side? Everybody on this side already, any answers over here? What have you done to take care of yourself since I saw you last? Yes, sir.
I started riding the bike and the dog.
You and the dog on the bike? Oh, he's got all right there.
We ride at least 3 miles a day, and sometimes at night. And I made an appointment to go to the doctor.
Y'all clap for him. That is very good. So you started riding the bike, you and the dog. That is good. And then you made an appointment to go see the doctor. Very, very good. Good for you. Anybody else? Yes.
I started back walking finally.
You started back walking? Okay.
I cleaned up, built. I have help from a doctor. Cardio was in my business.
Come on, y'all clap for her. She got a clean bill of health. And this is what we want. Absolutely. Good for you. Good for you. All right. Anybody else want to share what they've done since I saw you last? So, for me, what have I been doing since I saw you last? I've lost some inches. What are they doing? it, so I changed my diet, and I can really tell the difference. I have more energy, and I tried on 3 dresses that I held on to since 2012. I was holding out. I said, Lord, I want to get in that dress. It is so cute. Please. And it's been hanging in my closet since then, 2012. And I just tried it on, because I'm cleaning out my closet now. And I said, well, let me just try it on before I, bless somebody with it. And it can't, because see, originally it wouldn't come up over here. It would come up over here, and it came up, and I said, what you say? Why am I telling you this? Because I didn't think I had lost anything, because I was looking for pounds. I wasn't losing. Every time I got on the scale, I'd get off, as the old saints say, I would be disencouraged. I was like, look, this ain't working. But it was working, okay? Because it was not the pounds that I needed to be paying attention to. It was the inches. So I've lost some weight. I'm still monitoring my blood pressure. You remember last month when I told you that I found out the high blood pressure medicine that I was taking was impacting my kidneys and causing me to go into kidney failure. Pay attention to your prescribed medications that you're taking, okay? I'm not saying don't take them, but you want to pay attention to them. So when you go to your doctor and ask for your blood work, say, can you check my liver? And can you check my kidneys? All right, I got a nurse over here, she's nodding and giving me the go ahead that this is true. Because the doctors are not going to tell you that. They're not going to ask you, they're going to put you on this medication, okay? And I'm an advocate for medication. I know some of us need it, but you want to be aware. So I am transitioning from blood pressure medicine that's prescribed to natural medicine, or what they call holistic supplements. And I have been off the prescribed medication for 3 weeks. Y'all clap for me. So my goal is to come off of that medication, and so far, so good. It is absolutely working. What else am I doing? I'm taking care of myself I'm resting intentionally. I am resting intentionally, okay? So a lot of them don't see me. I used to come, I've been coming here for about 11 years, 12 years, and we go to church on Sunday. Well, they go to church now, I don't know. I don't go to the church building, but I go to the Bedside Baptist. And what I had to learn just this year, that when my doctor put me on a sabbatical, he said, you're going to have to rest more. Because of the type of the work that you're doing, you're constantly under stress. And it's not even your stuff. You're dealing with other people's stress. So because of the work that I do, I must be intentional about carving out certain times where you must be still, where you must lay down. So I'm doing really, really good with that. As far as my rest and setting those boundaries with that. And I'm really excited about that because it took me a while to do that. And then the last thing I have done for myself is I'm at the end of my decluttering. I've been decluttering internally, mentally, emotionally, physically with the body, and I've decluttered my home. That was a task. Oh my God. I mean, if it wasn't nailed down, I threw it out. Like, it's got to go. And I ended up finding some things from my parents who died years ago. Mom died in 2006, Daddy died in 2010. And I found some things that I still did not need. I kept a few items, but I found some clothing. I'm like, why is this in my closet taking up space? It is doing nothing. It serves no purpose. So I actually threw it out. So that was very, very helpful to me. You will be surprised as you declutter your space how it will help you mentally. Some of us are stuck in anxiety and depression because of the clutter that's around us, the physical clutter. It can be mail, a lot of papers, if you have a lot of papers around you. I see something over here in the corner, they like, oh Lord, I got a lot of papers. I need you to open the mail or throw it away, whichever one you're going to do. But you need to clean all of that to help you. Y'all are so funny. Yes. I did what? I did.
Because that mail is something else.
It really, really is.
Yes, the mail is something else.
The mail is something else. Thank you for your honesty.
I'm so honest today. I'm going to work on my decluttering.
You can work
the mail section first.
Start there, absolutely. So that's it with the decluttering, because it can be so much and you get overwhelmed. So this has taken me months, and I've just gone room by room by room. And now I have the last 3 rooms, my office, which is full of paper as well, It's been hard to get to it, but I'm going to be done by this Friday. I am going to be done with that by this Friday, because what you don't know is that's impacting you again mentally in your subconscious. And this is why a lot of you can't sleep, you can't rest, because you think you're sleeping, you're not, but your subconscious knows, I need to get to this over here. Okay? So all of these things are going to help you on your grief journey. I think I hit a nerve right there. So your homework. Yeah, he said, leave me alone. So I want to challenge you. The challenge is, all right, we got 6 months remaining. We starting July 1st. I need y'all to write this down. Everybody just look at me like, what is she getting ready to say? We're going to have a decluttering challenge for the last 6 months of the year. You're going to go into 2025 just free. Oh, yes you are. You're going to be free. You need a declutter challenge. So between now and the 1st, figure out whatever you need to declutter. If it's in rooms, whatever, your garage, and write it down. And then you're going to go and you make your own plan, because you got 6 months. So that's no pressure. That's plenty of time to do that.
Doing before and after pictures.
Oh, come on, Anthony. He said before and after pictures. Write that down. I need you to take pictures of before. I got mine. I'll show you mine. It was a hot mess. I'm like, Lord, how did I even live like this? Cleaning is the next to godliness. I don't think that's a scripture, but I heard somebody say that. Old people say, honey, God don't live here. Okay, so I've got my before shots, and I have some after shots, so let's do that. And we're going to show that in our progression at the end of the year. All right, y'all in? We going to do it? I didn't hear anybody respond. Are we going to do it? Okay. That's right. You're going to be so glad you did. You're going to be so glad you did. Because order just really does make you feel better. The places that I have already decluttered, it feels so good that I go back to that room all the time and I look at it and I'm like, oh, look at that order. Oh, look at that. And don't get like that again. You're exactly right. Hey, however, he said, can you call Molly Mays? Yeah, you can call Molly Mays to help you. Some of us need that. Okay? But the whole point, Molly Mays can't do it all. Because if Molly Mays do it, then you'll be right back. Because really, believe it or not, this is a mental exercise. Because all healing and recovery starts right here. If you want to get out of debt, guess where it's going to start? Right here. If you want to lose weight, right here. If you want a positive marriage or relationship, it's going to start right here. Okay? It's going to start right here, so you have to participate in it. All right? So last month we talked about how grief impacts our relationships, be it our family relationships, our work relationships, and the homework assignment was just to apply one of the things off of that particular list as far as your relationship. So we hope you got a chance to do that. Let's go into today's lesson. We're talking about coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms, okay, in the grief process. Down at the bottom it says, behind every mask there is a face, and behind that, guess what? It's a story. All of you look great today. Even though I can't see those of you who are streaming live, I'm quite sure you look great. Even if you're sitting up in the bed watching us today, I know that you're looking great, okay? But guess what? What's your story concerning your coping? Because we look well on the outside, you look put together, you look as if everything is going well for you. But I want to know, and I want you to ask yourself, how am I coping? Okay, how do you cope? Do you cope in a healthy way, or do you cope in an unhealthy way? Let's go to the next page. Next page there, it talks about loss, and this is a good recap for those of you who have been coming, because the mother of all learning is repetition. So you want to change a behavior, you want to do a repetition of whatever it is that you need to do. You need to speak it. That's why the word tells us, again, out of the power of life and death is right here in your tongue. Okay, so if you don't want to see something happen, then don't speak it. But if you do want to see something happen, you want to speak it. So this is why every month I'm telling you what the definition of grief is, and I'm telling you what the definition of mourning is, because I really want that to become second nature to you. I want it to become second nature to you. Why? Because we're changing your brain and how you think. Okay? You want to see something different in your life, change your brain. Did you know that you can do that? You can literally, research shows, neuroscientists teach us that you can change your brain. Okay? How do you do that? You change it by the way that you think. Okay? You change it by the way that you think. So what is loss? It says loss is a unique experience, and it's important to understand what grief looks like for who? For you. Because how it looks with one person, it may look totally different with another person. Just because the person is laughing doesn't mean that they're not hurting on the inside. They're just using humor as their coping mechanism. Okay? So grief is what? For our first timers, it's an internal, emotional, and chemical response to absolutely anything. This is why I asked in the beginning, is everybody here because of a death loss or a non-death loss? Anytime you have loss, guess what? It opens the door to grief. And every loss demands a response. Can you say that? Every loss demands a response. So I encourage you to respond to it versus reacting to it. Meaning just lean into your grief. Is it painful? Heck yeah, it's painful. That's why a lot of people don't want to deal with it. But it is certainly useful for you to work through this process, because if you don't do it now, you're going to do it when you get older. It was a lady that reached out, 74 years young. She reached out on social media the other day, and she said, is it possible to be grieving and not even recognize it? And before I could even respond to her, she responded in telling me her story. Her story. I'm 74 years old, about to be 75, and I have not been happy since ... And so I said, yes, ma'am, it is possible to be grieving and not even know it. Okay? So we don't want to be 74, 80, 89, 92, not dealing with our stuff. So grief, again, is what happens on the inside of you. And when we talk about chemical, that means the cortisol, norepinephrine, adrenaline, all three of those are what we call stress hormones. Cortisol is the stress hormone. But all three, again, are negative. They keep us in survival mode. And a lot of us don't even recognize we're in survival mode because we're used to carrying on that stress. We're used to feeling this way, thinking that it's normal, and it's not. Okay? So that's what grief is, and what is mourning is the external response of grief. So when you're actually crying, you're actually mourning and not grieving. Okay? So a lot of people will say, you may have said this yourself, you know, everybody grieves different. Truth is, no, everybody grieves the same because it's an internal response. We mourn differently. That's what we do differently. We mourn differently, okay? So look at coping skills. It's our thoughts and actions. You want to underline that. It's your thoughts and your actions used to respond to events that may cause distress. And it's learned from, underline, influence and experience. So how you cope is a learned thing. And when do we start learning? When we're kids. We think it's cute when the little baby's talking back. Let that little grow up. Okay. And you say, it's not cute anymore. That was a learned behavior. Okay? So coping skills are thoughts and our actions used to respond to events that may cause distress, learn from influence and experience. These strategies, meaning your coping skills, manage emotions. So while coping skills may not resolve the situation, they can help you manage how you feel when you're in it. So many of us are wanting to relieve the pain or come to resolve in a situation. A lot of times you're not able to do that, especially in the beginning of your grief journey. But you can find some peace in the midst of that. So that's what coping skills will help you do. Now, my question to you, how do you cope? Is it healthy or unhealthy? I want you to ask yourself that. Not all coping skills help positively relieve distress. Listen to this. Unhealthy coping skills may delay, underline delay. So when we have unhealthy coping skills, it delays us, the process, or it jeopardizes your safety. Listen, not only of you, but it could be for other people. So who is having to pay the price for your undealt with grief? People that are next to you, your family members, your friends, your co-workers, okay? So we have avoidant versus active coping skills. So these are two types of coping skills. I want you to see where you are. Initially, you cope with grief using, again, we talked about those familiar coping strategies, okay, to manage your distress. What is active coping skills? This is addressing the source of emotional pain with thoughts or actions that change the event, or it will change your perception about the event, okay? An example of an active coping skill would be seeking help to navigate your grief, or coming to Grief Symposium on a Sunday afternoon when you could be at home asleep, rested. Ain't nothing like that Sunday afternoon, right? Sunday afternoon nap, especially after you've eaten, okay? So what's avoidant coping skills? Using strategies to take your mind off of the event, such as escapism. You can write busyness. Some of you just keep busy, going, okay? So what's an example of an avoidant coping skills? Alcohol, drugs, food, okay? My go-to when I used to get stressed was cherry Coke and lime and chips, Lay's lime and chips. I did that when I was married, and he knew. If he came home and I was drinking a cherry Coke and eating some lime and chips, he knew to go in the other room. He said, she's stressed, let me leave her alone. Okay? So that was unhealthy. So find out, look what you're putting in your mouth, and look when you're putting it in your mouth. Are you going for, sweets? That was one of my go-tos as well, to find out what you're putting in your body. So the goal of active coping skills during your grief is to do what? To reduce or manage. Reduce or manage the negative emotions and thoughts that accompany it, okay? So we don't want you to get into an anxiety attack or panic attack. We want you to ward that off. And so when stress does come, and it happens on our grief journey, it won't take you down the rabbit hole like it normally would. That's the whole goal of coping skills. Okay, so when people said I had a hard time and this was rough, and I asked them, how'd you cope? How did you come out of it? What did you do? Well, I sat still and I started deep breathing. That is good. Or I went outside to get some sunshine. That is good. You have to do something to pull yourself out. To pull yourself out of it. Okay? Let's go to the next page. Now, some people think that coping skills and self-care are the same. They are not. Okay? Self-care is a way of coping. So you hear a lot of people talking about self-care now since the pandemic came, right? We've got self-care help all over the world. So self-care is a coping skill that helps you manage emotions and allows you to do what? Be proactive rather than reactive. So we want you to be proactive, to think about, what could possibly come ahead. Let me go ahead and get these coping skills together so when things do happen, this is how I'm going to respond proactively versus reacting. So self-care can involve, you've heard me talk about journaling. How many of you actually journal? Journaling is something that you do. Okay, not one person in the room journal. Okay, good. Oh, thank God for the one. All right. I want to encourage y'all to journal, those that don't. Now, journaling can be challenging because it's going to connect you with your feelings and your thoughts. This is why a lot of people don't do it, because they don't want to think and they don't want to feel. But journaling is a way of mourning, but it's also, I like to call journaling mind dumping. Okay? There's more room on this paper to get all of that stress out of here and put it on here. And I had one person say, what if I don't want my wife to read what I'm writing? I said, you got a good point there. I didn't realize it, so he bought a journal with a lock on it. Now, most of us are old enough. Do y'all remember diaries back in the day? They used to be really small. They still have those. I didn't even realize that. So if that is your concern, that you feel like someone will invade your privacy, get a journal with a lock on it. Okay? But I promise you, I had one young lady who's a millennial. And they like to put everything in digital form. I don't even think they know how to write in cursive. They just use they text it for everything. And she said, well, I do journal in my phone. I said, you can keep doing that, but I need you to write it out as well. Okay? I said, please, this is a part of your homework. Again, because this helps you. There's a connection between your brain and your body. When she came back the next 2 weeks and she said, oh my God, Dr. Cunningham, you're so right. It was so hard for me to actually write because I had to feel what I was writing about. Okay, so you want to try journaling, and you don't have to journal every day. You don't have to journal a thesis. Just get out of your head. Today was a good day. You don't have to just journal bad stuff. That's what most people think journaling is. It is not. I journal what happened every day for me, and sometimes I don't get to it. Sometimes I do. I try to say, oh, this happened. And the journal is a good resource for you to go back to look at, okay? I remember when I was first wounded by that divorce, and my journal was a hot mess then. Ooh, I was scribbling all over the place. I said, ooh, I was an angry black woman back then. Ooh. So it's totally different, my journaling today, because I'm at peace now. Okay? So you do your journaling, and there's exercising. We've kind of talked about that. We want you to move that body. Why do we want you to move that body? So you can have the release of the good hormones. The dopamine and the oxytocin and the serotonin and all of that. Definitely getting professional help if you need it. Asking for support. Because a lot of times in grief, we wait, and we have an expectation of others that we think they should be there to support us. And some of them should be. But the truth is, a lot of people don't know what to do with you now, because they haven't dealt with their own grief issues. So it makes them feel uncomfortable. So what do? Avoid you. Okay? But seek out that support and ask for it. Say, hey, I really need it. I really need this support. I really need someone to help me with this. Ask for it. Going to the doctor, get that checkup. We kind of talked about that already. Practice relaxation techniques such as the breathing or imagery, just sitting and thinking. Okay? Listening to music and focus on your senses. Your sight, your hearing, your smell, and your touch. Now, for some people, sitting and thinking is overwhelming because the mind is all over the place. And if that is the case, you're probably dealing with anxiety. So you certainly want to use and find coping mechanisms to help you calm your mind. Calm your mind so that anxiety won't take over you. All right? So it says at the bottom, put your coping skills to work by. First thing, acknowledging that you are in the grieving process. Many people ask me, how do I start working through your grief? The first thing you have to do is acknowledge it. Acknowledge where you are. It sounds so simple, but many of us don't even acknowledge I'm in grief. So you got to be able to acknowledge that you're in the grief process. And the second thing is give yourself permission. That's a huge one. Give yourself grace. I've been in this industry, in this ministry for 35 years, but I've only actively been applying it for the last 12. Okay, last 12. And now I give myself grace. Now I give myself space to make mistakes and to do all of those things and know that, girl, you're human and you're just one person. You want to develop the habit of prioritizing. Somebody needs to underline that because everything is a red alert for you. Everything's got to get done right now, today. If that's you, that means you got a little bit of anxiety going on. Prioritize the task in order of importance and be realistic. This is where I used to mess up. Because I would put 10 things on a to-do list in one day. That is unrealistic. That ain't happening. And then when I wouldn't get to all 10, then by the end of the day, I was feeling bad and I'm all depressed because, girl, you didn't do all the things you had on your list. Well, you had too many things. You had too many things. So find one, maximum 3 things. Okay? Maximum of 3 things per day, and you can check those off. Okay? But be realistic with that. Limit your expectations of others. We kind of just talked about how some people don't have the capacity. I remember when my dad died, and my best friend at the time, I didn't see her at the funeral. Well, when you're in grief, you don't see half the people that come up and speak to you and say, I'm so sorry for your loss. Because you're in grief. They said, I was there. You weren't. I came up and hugged you. You did. Well, I didn't see her because she didn't come up and hug me. And so I thought in my brain, you didn't come to my daddy's funeral. How you going to be my best friend if you weren't at my daddy's funeral? I ate her up one side down, not chewed up. I mean, I said, And she just let me talk. That was the grief. And I said, well, tell me something that happened at my daddy's funeral that only you would know if you attended. And she told me, I said, well, okay, I'm sorry. That's my grief talking. But again, I put too much of an expectation on her to be there. Okay, so you want to limit your expectations. Learning to recognize your emotional triggers. Learn what triggers you. Okay, because sometimes you can avoid certain triggers. Not all triggers you can, but learn what triggers you until you're able to handle it. Because triggering is what happens in your brain. For our new people, you never forget memories. Some people say, when am I going to forget the picture of seeing them die in front of me? Or seeing them in the casket? Or seeing the marriage end? Memories never leave. So what our brain does, it goes through our life and it takes pictures of our life experiences. And when something happens in the present that remotely reminds us of something in the past, your brain will go back to 1910 or whatever it was, get that memory, bring it back here, and make you think it's happening now. So that's normal. However, you don't have to always go down the rabbit hole when your brain is triggered. That's what you want to work on. Okay, not going down the rabbit hole, right? I told you I went down the rabbit hole when I saw that cross. You know, I'm trying to date the man wore a cross. My ex-husband wore a cross. And I said, ooh, I can't date him because he wore crosses. Ooh, now I can't date him. I didn't know I was going to feel, I'm saved and I love the Lord. How can I have problems with crosses? Jesus died on the cross. And I got problems with crosses. And because of the pain and the trauma. So I had to go back and work through that. I'm cool with crosses now. I think I am. Let me see. You just never know. Let's see another man that come along. Let me see. You wear crosses. Woo. So, number 6 is getting guilt-free rest. How many of y'all feel like it's just, I should be doing something when you sit there? You can't sit there because you feel like you always got to be doing something. Okay, that's coming from a trauma response called perfection, which is rooted in the flight in your brain. The fight, flight, freeze, fawn. The flight is where anxiety hangs out. Okay? So you want to be guilt-free. Child, I am so guilt-free with my wrist. Praise the Lord. Listen, I feel no waste time when they go to church and I'm at home in their bed. You going to church? Barry asks me every Saturday, you going to church? No, sir, I'm not. I'm going to bedside. I'll be here though. I love the Lord, I really do. So I'm guilty. But it took me a while because I came from a traditional church and traditional teaching. It was really religious, okay, versus right relationship with God. And even when I went to my new church, God sent me to the new church, it was hard for me. It was hard for me, okay? So, but I got it down now. Listen, I got it down. Assisting others in need is something that you can do. Assisting others in need, facing all situations with confidence, and remembering, circle number 9, remembering that what you feel, it is temporary. Even though it doesn't feel like it, it is temporary if you keep doing your grief work. Now, if you come here, you sit, you go home, and you do nothing, it is not going to be a temporary experience for you. Because there can be no transformation of anything if there is no application of whatever information you receive. You've got to be able to apply it. And again, don't feel bad. I just started applying it myself 12 years ago. All right? And then number 10, keeping in mind that you cannot change the past, but focus on the present and the future. Focus on the present and the future. Right? So this is what we're getting ready to close with, our next page. I want you to create a toolbox for yourself. Okay? You can I want you to get a physical box. Whatever that looks like for you. Those of you who are creative, I know you'll make it really, really nice. But create a coping toolbox. And it should help you arrive at more balanced emotions or behavioral changes. Okay? So you want to secure a box or a container, whatever it looks like, with a cover, because you want to be able to cover it. You don't want people looking at your stuff. And then fill it with thoughtful items and messages you feel will relax you or distract you from going down the rabbit hole. That's called redirection. Okay? So what can you put in it? Jokes that make you laugh. I remember when I was going through the beginning of the divorce, and it was so painful, and a movie came on. It was Martin Lawrence, and I cannot think of the name of it right now. Had never seen it before. That was the first movie in my entire life that I laughed from the beginning to the very, very end. I was hurting that day, sad, in the bed, but that movie came on, and I literally laughed a whole 2 hours. And after that, I felt better. I got up out of the bed, okay? So jokes that make you laugh, a friend that you can reach out to, okay? A reminder of hobbies that you really enjoy, plan to pursue one day. Turn on the radio. As you can see, I like music, okay? Music gets to your soul. The root word of music means to think, to cause one to think, muse. Okay, so turn on the radio. Turn on the lights in your house. Are you in the dark all the time? Where it says, open up the shades. Yes. Depression. People who are depressed don't open up the shades. So we want you to get that sunlight in there. Okay, I see some eyes rolling over here. Okay. You got to let the sunshine in. Create notes with quotes, prayers, scriptures, and positive affirmations that give you hope. So my homework assignment that my therapist gave me, I had to redecorate my room. That was the only room that I had not redecorated since my divorce. I don't know why. That was the first room I should have started with, was the bedroom. I'm like, what was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. I did every other room. And he said, what is wrong with you? I said, well, I don't know. So that was in April. So from April to May, and I finished it this month, top of the month, I had to literally redecorate my room. And now I have positive affirmations all over the room. Absolutely, absolutely positive. So when I wake up, it talks about today is a new day. You got this. Healing is not linear, okay? So when I wake up, I see all of that, okay? So that's going to help you heal. So create that space for yourself. You need to go on a walk. We've talked about that. I'm doing the best I can, and I will get through this. This is a positive affirmation that some of you need to say to yourself every day you get up. I have clients who have sticky notes that they put on the bathroom mirror, because they're going to go in the bathroom every morning. And she tells herself such and such and such before she goes to work. All right, let's get it. Okay? So you can tell yourself that. You can add scents to your box, candles, sachets, anything scented, because it's going to help you with your smelling sense. What you smell makes a difference. And I'll leave that right there, because I was going to ask what your house smell like. Okay? I want it to smell good. Okay? Funeral homes that smell good make me happy. Funeral homes that smell like funeral home, I'm like, we don't want it to smell like that. Okay? So we want you to have good sense. Create a playlist of songs that are calming and pleasing, or praise and worship songs. Those songs that can get you, as relates to the Lord, get you right in the presence, play them all the time. Then those songs that make you dance, when he was playing James Brown, that'll get you moving. A friend of mine, when I was going through the divorce, he sent me a playlist, and I didn't know what a playlist was. I still don't. I don't even know how to create one. But he did it, and all I had to do was push play. And he had a whole bunch of songs on there. One that would get me was Aretha Franklin, and then another one was I'm Every Woman. I don't know who was that song there. I'm Every Woman. And every time that song come on, who was it? Shaka Khan. It get me going every time. So create you a playlist, okay? Especially when grief comes in, you can put that on, and I promise you, it'll take you out of that space. I'm not saying don't allow yourself to grieve. I'm just saying this is a part of it so you don't get stuck in your grief. Items you hold or rub in your hands, such as stress balls, silly putty, stuffed animals, lap blankets, all of those will be helpful for you in your coping. And pictures of your loved ones, your pets, places you've been, coloring books. Adult coloring is the new thing now that a lot of people like to do, drawing, materials, watercolors. Main thing is just be creative with your coping tools, and to reach for your toolbox when you notice that your stress levels are starting to rise. I have a client who does that. I love when she comes. I just love her personality and her spirit. But she journals a lot. She's very active in her journaling, but she's also creative. So when she comes and she sits across me and she'll open up her journal and she's giving me the report of everything that happened within the last 2 weeks of when we saw each other, I see all of this color as she flips through in her journal. I can tell when she had a hard day, maybe some black coloring, matte colors, but then she'll have these other colors as well. Okay? So you want to be creative, and when you feel yourself going into that stressful mode, go to that toolbox and pull out one of these things to do. Pull out one of these things to do, okay? And just pick one of your tools randomly, and then just allow yourself to be in that space, okay? Nothing has to be necessarily wrong, but you want to be able to have active tools available to go to that you can use when you find yourself in a tough spot. All right? Any questions about today's or comments about today's lesson? Nope. All right? So we're going to close with an exercise. We're going to close with an exercise. So if you are able to stand, I'm going to ask you to stand. You don't have to say anything, but I need you to stand and get yourself some room. And actually, you can come up here with me because we're going to be moving around a bit. We're going to be moving around a bit. So you can stand. Ladies, you can leave your pocketbook there. I'm watching it for you. Ain't nobody gonna steal it. I'm watching it. Because some places you go, you gotta watch your pocketbook. Okay? Keep my pocketbook for me. One of my godmothers, I went to a family reunion with her family. She went to go fix her plate. She said, "Girl, watch my pocketbook." I said, "This your family." That's why I say, watch my pocketbook. Come over here. Somebody can come up here with me. Don't leave me up here by myself. She can sit. Do you want to stay? You don't feel like standing? You don't have to if you don't feel like it. But yeah, so what? You gonna come on up here. This is my dance party. Y'all clap as she come up here. Come on up here, dance party. Also clap for her. She showed me her binder that she is a big 3-ring. Can you bring it up here for us so we can show you? She keeps all the materials that we give her every month. And look at this binder. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Y'all clap for her. She calls it her grief ministry binder. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so what we're getting ready to do, I'm going to say face-to-face or back-to-back. Okay, I'm going to say face-to-face or back-to-back. So what I want you to do is go find somebody that you're not next to. Okay, you're going to go around the room and you're going to do this. When I say face-to-face, you're going to do this. And I need you to look in their eyes. Y'all do face-to-face until I say stop. Or if I say back-to-back, you're going to go back-to-back, okay? So this is what I need you to do. Go find somebody on the opposite room, and I want y'all to be back-to-back. She tried to cheat. Now back-to-back. Find somebody that you didn't come with, back-to-back. Everybody needs somebody. You didn't come with. You gotta stay right there. You gotta stay right there. So everybody have somebody. We need to come back over there. Yeah. Back-to-back. Okay, Marie, I don't have nobody. You come back-to-back. All right. So now what we're getting ready to do, I need you to find somebody else to go face-to-face. All right, we're moving. You moving too. Face-to-face with somebody. You can go. I'll be face-to-face. Yeah. Face-to-face. Are y'all face-to-face? Y'all side to side. Face-to-face. All right. Good. Okay, everybody's face-to-face. All right. Now let's go back-to-back. Find somebody else. Back-to-back. Find somebody else. Y'all did good. Back-to-back. Somebody else that you didn't. Did y'all change over here? Y'all did. All right. Y'all not cheating. Okay. You need somebody to go over there. You in the corner. Over here. There you go. All right. Okay. Y'all good. All right. Go find somebody else new. Let's do elbow to elbow. Like that. Elbow to elbow. Come on. Have you do that elbow. Somebody new. You ain't came out this corner at all over here. Okay. But it's somebody new. Elbow, elbow, okay. Truth, what are you doing? You got somebody? I don't see. Where are y'all? Oh, okay. Okay, one last one, face to face. This is going to be the last one. Go find somebody new. Go face to face. Face to face. Find somebody face to face. Somebody new. Somebody new. Somebody new. What was it like for you? Different? It was different? Fun? Uncomfortable. That's the word what was uncomfortable for you? Face, absolutely being face to face and not knowing if you're supposed to talk or not. Marie said we're not supposed to be talking. Baby, she gonna be in charge. Okay, we ain't talking, be quiet. She just said face to face. But you had to get out of your comfort zone, didn't you? And you had to go find somebody new that you're not familiar with. What was the purpose of that? That's what coping mechanisms are like. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Okay, so many of you are stuck in your grief and not able to move out because you're not willing to open up and try these different coping mechanisms that you've never tried before. And is it going to be uncomfortable? Absolutely it is, but it is certainly worth it. So you guys did a good job by moving around. Give yourselves a hand clap. As Miss Marie comes and close us out, we will see you guys next month. And remember, I want you to figure out what you're doing to take care of yourself. I'm going to ask you next month. Okay, what coping mechanisms did you apply, all right? Y'all have a good one.
All right, y'all give Dr. Cunningham a hand. That was a good session.
Yeah, mine. You want that?
Am I on? Okay, to close out today, we're just gonna close out. His church announcements. I told him he better send me some if you want me to give him some. Mr. Franklin is recovering. He had his knee replacement, his second knee replacement. So we went to service this morning and he was kind of tired out. So he said he wasn't gonna make it this afternoon, but thank everybody for coming. We hope to see you next month. Before we close out, Cousin Catherine, you want to come up and give them some information on what you have? All I got is
I'm Catherine Cunningham. Maria is my first cousin, bless her heart. Bless her heart. Amen. I just want to say that I am a pre-need agent. Sister Barbara Washington, let me apologize to you publicly because I have not gotten with you like I need to. Amen. I want to apologize in front of everybody. Amen. Your phone rings, but sometimes you don't answer. Amen. But I love you, and we will get together. But I am a pre-need agent, that is pre-arranging your funeral services while you are alive and can make decisions for yourself. Amen. That's what I do. That's what I do. Now, as you can see, I did not participate in the face-to-face, back-to-back, elbow to elbow, because I do that every day. I deal with nuts every day. Amen. I do. Really, I do. But anyway, it's all right. That doesn't mean I'm not a nice person. I was obedient to what the sister asked, but I knew to stay in that corner over there. Amen. But anyway, that's what I do, and if you're interested in talking to me about pre-arranging your funeral service, I do only work for a life celebration by Franklin. That's who I work for. And so I write pre-arrangements for that funeral home. Okay? So I have cards if you want them. I have a piece of paper if you want to leave your number. But if I give you a card, you probably won't call me. Amen? So anyway, that's who I am. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you all next month. And it's good to see all these people in here that I know. God bless you. If you need me, I'm here. Thank you.
something else I was supposed to say, and I don't know what it is. Anyway, thank you all for coming. What was that?
We'll put whatever that announcement is, we can put it online.
Oh, so look online. If I get my announcement, I'll put it online. Thank you. That's all we have for today. Thank you all for coming. You guys can give us some music and grab your snack, and we are all gonna go home. Thank
Fourth
you.
Sunday next month. Fourth Sunday next month.
Hey!